Good evening, Warriors, and welcome back to another episode of the Grass Lake Sports Weekly Report. I am your host, James Charles. This is December 21st, 2025, and this is episode 25. Our Warriors have been hard at work this last week before Christmas break, cramming in as much as they can before school lets out, before we all take a break from the action, and they have been busy. So, we've got plenty of wrestling, basketball, hockey news, and all your winter sports activities coming up for you right here. So, without further ado, here we go. Let's kick things off with some Warrior Hoops action. Our varsity boys took to the court 3 times this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And here's your starting lineup for your boys' varsity team on Tuesday night against Homer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet, make some noise for your Warriors. Starting with senior, 6'2", number 3, Connor Sherwood. He's a junior, number 4, 5'11", Brayden Starr. Junior, standing 5'7", number 11, Kobe Sandoval. Junior, standing 6'4", number 12, Brayden Gilbert. And he's a junior, 6'3", number 23, Your Warriors are led by head coach Jason O'Neill and assistant Craig Vitale.
The two teams headed into the locker room at halftime, tied 32-32, but Homer ultimately pulled away in the second half, winning 62-56. Brayden Starr led the Warriors with 18 points, shooting 70% for the night for Grass Lake. The Warriors' next matchup would be the following night on the road against the Hanover Horton Comets. And here's some highlights from that action. The Warriors were unable to hang with the Hanover Horton Comets, losing 35-58. Connor Sherwood led the Warriors with 10 points. The boys then would round out their week on Friday night, traveling to Napoleon and losing a close one to the Pirates, 48-53. So our varsity boys closed the chapter on the week and closed the chapter on the year. They will be back at it after the first of the year. Boys will be back at it January 5th at Clinton, January 7th back at home against Columbia Central, and again on January 9th at home against Manchester. So they'll be having a busy week once we get back from break, looking for that first win of the season. Let's go, Warriors. Our Lady Warriors varsity team also had 3 contests of their own this week. One on Tuesday at Homer, Thursday at home against Napoleon, and then on the road Saturday against East Kentwood. Tuesday night, the ladies traveled to Homer to take on the Trojans, and here are some highlights from that competition. The Lady Warriors took down the Trojans by a score of 78-36. Reese Lape led the Warriors with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals, and 3 assists. Maya Vigeland added 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and 5 assists. And there were 4 different Warriors that scored 10 or more points in the Warriors Cascades Conference victory. Warriors then came back home on Thursday night to take on the Napoleon Pirates. The Warriors had little trouble dealing with the Pirates, winning 76-7 at home. Freshman Hadley White scored 10 points and pulled down 11 rebounds for her first varsity double-double. Reese Lape scored 21, and Maya Vigeland scored 14 points and 6 assists for the Warriors. The Warriors then did travel to Aquinas College on Saturday for the 5th annual West Michigan Hoop Summit, where they would face East Kentwood. Remember again, as they did last week, they played Rockford. East Kentwood plays in that same division, same size school as Rockford, so much larger than Grass Lake. So this is a true test for these Lady Warriors. The Warriors pulled out a nail biter in Aquinas College in that showcase tournament, beating Kentwood 59-57. Adeline Jarko finished with 19 points, and Reese Slate had a double-double with 12 points and 10 rebounds. Elise Bullock also finished with 11 points and 4 assists for the Warriors. So that brings the ladies Warriors record to 5-1 on the season. They will have a couple weeks off for the winter break and then be back at it January 6th against Hanover Horton, and then back at home January 9th against the Manchester Flying Dutchmen. Our JV boys basketball team started their week out at home Tuesday night against Homer and came out victorious with a 45-30 win over the Trojans. Evan Matthews led the Warriors with 17 points, followed by Wesley Rule with 12, Sebastian Jans with 10, Dylan Allen with 3, and Elijah Walling with 3 as well. The Warriors then traveled out to Hanover Horton the following night to take on the Comets, and here are some highlights from that competition. The Warriors ultimately fell to the Comets 43-61. James Warburton with 12 points, Evan Matthews with 11, and Dylan Allen with 7. The boys then traveled to Napoleon on Friday night to take on the Pirates. The boys came up short against the Pirates 43-54. They were led by Wesley Rule with 13 points, Elijah Walling with 12, and Evan Matthews with 8. That brings the boys' JV team season record to 2 wins and 4 losses. They will be back at it again after the break against Clinton on the 5th, at home against Columbia Central on the 7th, and then on Friday the 9th, again at home against the Manchester Flying Dutchmen. Our girls' JV team was in action this week as well on Tuesday and Thursday. Unfortunately, I do not have any information on those contests for those ladies. So if you're a coach, player, fan, parent out there with access to that information, and we want to celebrate these ladies' accomplishments as well. So get them into me at glsportsweeklyreport at gmail.com, and I will get them on the show. Like I said, they deserve to be recognized just as much as everybody else. So if you got information about those competitions for those ladies, stories about those ladies, please send them my way. Let's celebrate all things Grass Lake Warriors. And in middle school hoops, our 7th and 8th grade boys took to the hardwood for one last week with 2 home games on Monday and Wednesday. Monday was against Vandercook, and Wednesday was against Leslie. The 7th graders led things off with a big win over the Vandercook Jayhawks, 46-16 on Monday night. The 8th graders followed that up with a win of their own by a score of 43-38. 8th grade Warriors staged an incredible comeback from an 11-point deficit. Vandercook had a 27-16 lead before the Grass Lake Warriors mounted their rally. The Warriors held on for the win after building a 6-point lead at 43-37. The 8th grade Warriors played particularly well in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Jayhawks 21-7. Easton Jarko scored 11 points to lead the Warriors. The Warriors also collected 39 rebounds, with Grady Jones leading the way with 10. The Warriors put pressure on the ball the entire game and collected 17 total steals, with Chase Carper leading the team with 5. Also scoring for the Warriors were Joe Presnell with 10, Owen Schaefer with 6, Chase Carper with 5, Andrew Presnell with 3, Dayton Stoddard with 2, Grady Jones with 2, Ethan Larson with 2, and Wyatt Charles with 2. Once again, a 43-38 win over the Jayhawks. The 7th graders then finished out their season with a loss to Leslie, losing at home 42-51. The 7th graders had 3 losses on the season. 2 of them came at the hands of Leslie, so Leslie's got a pretty solid 7th grade basketball team. The 7th grade Warriors, finished the season with a 8-3 record. So great job to those 7th graders. The 8th graders followed that up with a defeat of the Leslie Blackhawks 52-45, and they were led by Grady Jones with 15 points and 10 rebounds. The Blackhawks had jumped out to an early lead, but the Warriors took a 27-23 lead into the halftime. The Warriors played some stifling defense, blocking 4 shots and grabbing 12 steals, while also controlling the paint, grabbing 49 rebounds. Andrew Presnell led the team with 11 rebounds. He also dumped in 10 points for the Warriors. Also scoring for the Warriors were Owen Schaefer with 9, Joe Presnell with 8, Ethan Larson with 3, Chase Carper with 3, Gavin Brzezinski with 2, and Wyatt Charles with 2 as well. And the 8th graders finished their season on a 4-game win streak to finish the season out with a season record of 5-6. So congratulations to all those boys on a successful season. And that closes the chapter on the middle school boys basketball season. Way to go, Warriors. On the ice, Jackson Zebel and his Jackson United team had a couple of contests this week. They faced off against number 3 in the state, Livonia Stevenson, on Wednesday night. Your lineup for the Jackson United hockey team against Livonia Stevenson. And the boys come out victorious, 6-3. And our guy, Jackson Zebel, with an assist on the night. Great job, United. Then on Saturday, they traveled out to Wing Stadium to take on the Kalamazoo Eagles. And United dominated the day with 13 goals. Again, our guy, Jackson Zebel, with a goal of his own. With that win, Jackson United still sits on top of the Southeastern Conference White standings. Hockey team season record currently stands at 7-5. They have a couple week break and then be back at it after the new year, traveling to Alpena on January 3rd, and then another road game down to the Toledo Ice House on January 7th, and then they'll be back home on January 9th to take on Jackson Lumen Christi. Also, the Jackson United coaches invite everyone to a high school hockey prep clinic on December 29th, 30th, and 31st at Optimus Ice Arena. This is for middle school and high school kids looking to get some exposure with the Jackson United team, get an idea of what is going on with the Jackson United team. The clinic gives players early familiarity with Jackson United's coaching philosophies, communication style, core culture and expectations, skill development framework. It's a great fit for athletes who see Jackson United as part of their future. So I will have this link in the description as always for you. This is once again for middle school and high school students interested in Jackson United next season. That's $90, 3 1-hour skates, and a clinic T-shirt. So if you want to get hooked up with that, that will be happening over break December 29th, 30th, and 31st. In Warrior Bowling news, the boys and girls varsity teams had two contests this last week. One on Wednesday at Jack 60, where the boys won 23-7, and the girls won 25-5. And then Friday night at Suburban Lanes against East Jackson, the Warriors won 28-2. Mason Bush led Grass Lake with a 4-11 series, including a 2:36 game. The girls also won against East Jackson 30-0. Mariel Shafran finished with a 4:30 series for the Warriors. Our bowling teams will be back at it after the Christmas break Monday, January 5th, up in Mason. On the mats, our Warriors had an excellent week of wrestling. Our high schoolers had two events, one at home on Wednesday against Vandercook Lake. From my understanding, Vandercook doesn't have too many wrestlers on their team, so I think there was only 2 or 3 matches that happened that night, and I'm not 100% sure of the results of those. But following the high school event, our youth wrestlers had a little intramural dual meet, blue versus gold, with our varsity wrestlers officiating. So that was a fun evening, fun way to cap the night of wrestling on Wednesday with our youth warriors and our varsity warriors teaming up on those wrestling mats at the high school. The varsity warriors then traveled out to Stockbridge for the Stockbridge individual invite. The Warriors as a team finished in third place with 133 points. Aiden Johnson finished in first place at the 120-pound class, bringing his season record to 8-2. Brandon Rohde finished in first place in the 126-pound class, bringing his season record to 10-0 to remain undefeated. Max Latshaw also finished in first place at the 132-pound class to bring his record to 9-2 on the season. Aiden Durham and Grady Cromery both competed in the 138-pound division. Aiden Durham finished in first place to stay undefeated on the season at 11-0, and Grady Cromery finished in second place, losing to Aiden, bringing his season record to 10-1. And Justin Rowe finished in second place at the 144-pound division, bringing his season record to 8-3. So the wrestling team, it looks like we'll be back in action after the new year. January 2nd looks like a girls competition down in Monroe, St. Mary Catholic Central. I'm sure Ava will be attending that. And then back at it on January 7th at Vandercook Lake with Napoleon and Addison. And then following that up on the 10th on a Saturday at the Napoleon Invite. Then on Sunday, our youth wrestlers took to the mats at Grass Lake High School for the Cascades Conference Tournament hosted by Grass Lake. And here is a little clip from that action on Sunday. As a team at the Warrior Rumble Wrestling Tournament, the Grass Lake Warriors came in second place, competing against 33 schools, finishing only behind the Western Mat Cats. Our Warriors had a big turnout for wrestlers as we had 37 members wrestle for the youth program on Sunday. In the 6U division, Peyton Camilleri with first place, Nolan Kaiser in third, Parker Carroll in first, Grant Laraway in fourth, Hudson Kellenberger in second, Owen Bigford in third, Brian Lockwood in first. In the 7 and 8-year-old division, Brecken Cole in first, Hagen Paul in third, Gavin Decker in first, Jack Zenz in third, Adam Hall in third, Xander Dakota in third, Liam Kinsella first, Bo Cromery first, Thad Carruthers second, Alex Davis first, Kaizen Leakted first. In our 9 and 10-year-old division, Ellie Myers in first, Walker Frost in fourth, Sawyer Frost in third, Everett Kelly in first, Drew Risky in fourth, Harrison Wilder in third, Dalton Albee in first, Grayson Laraway in third. In our 11 and 12-year-old division, Easton Cole in second, Curtis Albee in third, Wesley Charles in first, Cameron Kaiser in fourth. And in our 13 and 14-year-old division, Memphis Hall in first, Alex Worka in first, Marshall Johnson in second, Jonathan Myers in fourth, Gus Lashaw in first, Gordon Thompson in third, and Brody Pawaga in second. So just an awesome day for our wrestlers on the mat Sunday. We had some of the high school wrestlers out there officiating as well, so it was a good experience for them. Also, the youth program will take a couple weeks off and then be back in action January 11th out in Chelsea. And that's going to do it for this week's Grass Lake Sports Weekly Report. With the holidays coming up and not a lot of Warrior activity on the schedule, I'll be taking a little time off to enjoy Christmas and the New Year with family and friends. As always, thank you for your continued support. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel so you never miss a Warrior update. From my family to yours, have a very Merry Christmas, a safe and Happy New Year, and let's make 2026 the best year yet for Grass Lake Warriors Athletics. Until next time, God bless our kids, God bless our community, and go Warriors!